Mr. Chairman, the time has come for bold and decisive actions. We must no longer treat agriculture as an afterthought. Today we stand at a critical juncture in our nation's history, a moment that demands renewed energy, focus, and commitment to securing our future through food self-sufficiency and agricultural transformation. For years, Ghana has taken steps to modernize our agriculture, and yet we continue to face very persistent challenges, such as low productivity, inadequate extension services, poor market linkages, limited value addition, and weak infrastructure. But we are not without hope, because our land is fertile, our water resources are abundant, our sun shines generously on us, our youth are energetic and full of potential. We also have strong research institutions and the technical expertise. What remains is our ability to translate these potentials into real, sustainable progress. By feeding our people, fueling our industries, creating jobs, and raising incomes across the length and breadth of our nation. Our current food import bill is reported to stand at an alarming $2 billion annually. Agro-industries operate far below capacity, and although inflation has dropped from a high level of 54% in 2022, it still hovers at above 22% today. The main driver of this inflation index is the food basket, which remains worryingly high at 26%. Mr. Chairman, the time has come for bold and decisive actions. We must no longer treat agriculture as an afterthought. Agriculture must be placed at the center of our national economic transformation. In this spirit, my government is rolling out the Feed Ghana program under the broader theme of Agriculture for Economic Transformation Agenda, AETA. This is a comprehensive vision to modernize and expand agriculture, to create jobs, reduce food inflation, and strengthen food security. The Feed Ghana program is our flagship initiative. It is a strategic umbrella under which all agricultural projects and interventions will be executed. It is anchored on deliberate actions to increase food production, promote modern farm practices, strengthen infrastructure, and develop agro-industrial zones across the length and breadth of Ghana. Since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, the world has shifted. Global protectionism is rising. Tariff wars are being waged among the world powers, and new trade tensions are emerging between nations. These trends demand a fundamental rethink of how we feed ourselves and engage with regional markets like the African Continental Free Trade Area. The Feed Ghana program is therefore timely. It represents a bold commitment to put our resources where our ambitions lie. Under the Feed Ghana program, the priority commodities that will be focused on, that are vital for our food security, and import substitution, but also for industrial use and export growth are the following: grains and legumes, maize, rice, soya bean, and sorghum. Under vegetables, we're concentrating on tomatoes, onions, and chili peppers. Under starchy crops, we're concentrating on cassava, plantain, and yam. Under industrial crops, we're concentrating on cocoa, mango, oil palm, coconut, rubber, cotton, cashew, shea, and coffee, and ginger. Under livestock, we're concentrating on poultry, cattle, sheep, goats, and pigs. The key interventions under the Feed Ghana program are as follows. And the first is the promotion of smart agriculture. We will establish farmer service centers nationwide to provide mechanization services, quality inputs, finance, market access, primary processing, and training for our farmers. In addition, we will create farm banks or land banks in designated irrigable zones to support young agric entrepreneurs and enhance national food production. The second key intervention is the Grains and Legumes Development Project. Under this project, we will scale up the production of maize, rice, soya bean, and sorghum, both for consumption, for agro-processing, and for export. With its high potential as a raw material for the brewing industry, the cultivation of sorghum will also be considered a priority. We know that grains and legumes are also important for the feed industry, which is connected to poultry production and aquaculture production. The third component is the Vegetable Development Project, popularly referred to as Yeridua. To reduce imports from neighboring countries, we'll invest in controlled environmental farming, including the use of greenhouse technologies and urban and peri-urban agriculture. We'll promote schools to grow their own vegetables. We will do backyard gardening. Everybody will be encouraged to get some land near your house or behind your house and have a garden where you grow tomatoes, garden eggs, okra, onions, and pepper. We have done this before. For those of you who grew through the Operation Feed Yourself years, you remember that your parents used to have backyard gardens. And so when you wanted to pound fufu, sometimes you didn't have to go to the market. You just go into the garden, you pluck some nyadwa, take some pepper, some onion, tomato, and then go and make the soup and pound the fufu. We will encourage community gardens to enhance nutrition and household incomes. The fourth component is what we call institutional farming. We're going to encourage not only households and communities to grow vegetables like tomatoes, pepper, garden eggs, and thereby reducing household food costs and increasing self-reliance, but we're also going to encourage institutions such as senior high schools with available lands to be supported to venture into crop production and livestock farming. And so all our schools that have land available, you are going to use some of that land for agricultural purposes. You grow vegetables to improve the food of the students in their kitchen. You have cows, goats, sheep, so that you can provide meats for our children in school. This will complement the school feeding program and encourage students to view agriculture as a viable career. I'm pleased to note that the following institutions have already expressed their interest to participate in this initiative. Amongst them, we have the National Service Scheme, who are going to activate their national service farms so that national servicemen will be engaged in agriculture. Amongst them is the Ghana Prison Service. The Ghana Prison Service is going to activate the prison farms and use the prisoners for agricultural production. The National Youth Employment Agency is also a collaborating institution. Faith-based organizations, churches and mosques, several faith-based organizations have come to us and said that they are willing to go into agriculture and agro-processing. Universities such as the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology and the University of Ghana have already approached the Ministry of Agriculture to participate in this institutional farming program. To operationalize this, the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Agriculture, and the National Service Scheme have already signed an MOU to deploy 5,000 agriculture and veterinary graduates to support the institutional program. As vacancies arise, these graduates will be absorbed permanently into the public service, bridging the gap between research and on-farm practice. The fifth component of the Feed Ghana program is the poultry industry revitalization, which is popularly called the Nkukong Kitinkiti program. And I know that the Poultry Farmers Association are very strongly represented here. I've seen my friend Boris B. and his members clapping when I said Nkukong Kitinkiti. Nana Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, Ghana imports almost $400 million worth of chicken every year. This we all must be ashamed of. Our poultry farm to table project, popularly referred to as the Nkukong Kitinkiti program, which is going to be implemented in collaboration with the Poultry Farmers Association, will support hatcheries, feed mills, veterinary services, and poultry processing centers. This year, we're going to register 50 anchor farmers who will be supported to produce 4 million birds, which will be equivalent to 10,000 metric tons of chicken. Additionally, a supplementary program would involve the registration of 55,000 households across this country. And each of these 55,000 households are going to produce 500 birds every year. We believe that this will rear over 1 million birds and thereby improve the incomes of women and their nutrition of their children. Ladies and gentlemen, the sixth component is the livestock development component. Under this component, we'll promote the rearing of cattle, pigs, small ruminants like goats and sheep, and improve access to high-quality breeds, veterinary services, and targeted incentives for livestock farmers. The seventh component is the tree development component and the feed industry program. The Tree Development Authority will scale up the development of 6 strategic crops, namely oil palm, cashew, mango, coconut, shea, and rubber. We'll focus particularly on oil palm. Ghana currently produces 300,000 metric tons of oil palm against a demand of 450,000 metric tons. This leaves a deficit of 150,000 metric tons. With the global palm oil market projected to hit $65 billion by 2027, Ghana must position itself to meet domestic and export demand. To this end, we'll introduce a national palm oil industry policy to provide strategic incentives across the value chain from cultivation to export. Number 8, under the Feed Ghana program, is the agro-production enclaves and infrastructure. These are the agro-processing zones. We'll develop agro-processing zones with irrigation, roads, power, and warehousing to attract private investment to boost production and processing of our agricultural produce. Number 9 is innovative agricultural financing. Access to financing remains a significant barrier. To address this, the Exim Bank will be repositioned to offer concessional loans to agricultural enterprises, especially those involved in the export and value addition process. We will also work to de-risk lending and expand agricultural insurance coverage to encourage lending to the agricultural sector. Research, inclusion, and implementation. All interventions will be grounded in research, tailored to our climate realities, and inclusive of youth and women participation. We will ensure strong linkages between smallholder farmers and anchor farmers, facilitating a win-win relationship for input access, technical support, and guaranteed markets. We'll also build on existing initiatives, such as the tree crop diversification program, and create an enabling environment for private investment while ensuring fair returns for our producers. Nana Chairman Nananom, in conclusion, the Feed Ghana program is not just a policy, it is a call to action. The task ahead is monumental, but it is achievable. With unity of purpose and shared commitment, we can transform agriculture into an engine of national growth and shared prosperity. Let all farmers, agribusiness people, financial institutions, development partners, and citizens put their shoulders to the wheel so that we can make this vision a reality. On this note, I have the singular honor to declare the Feed Ghana program officially launched.